Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy. Today I have a fairly simple layout using this one sheet of paper and a white sheet of paper. But I really love the way it comes out. So if you're not familiar with Kit Conspiracy, this is a series that MK and I do every April and November. Started a couple years back when we decided to kit up from our stash very similar products. Well, a lot of the same products that we had bits and pieces left over from collections that we had in our stash. We kitted them up so that our kits matched very similarly, and we tried to use that kit for a week and see what we could make out of it. And then we did the same thing for every week of the same month. So every week we switch kits in April and every week in November as well. We have gone to purchasing similar kits as we ran out of stash that matched, but we have found that we do have some stuff that matches that are leftovers from things we've used over the last couple of years. So this time we are doing two stash kits, which this week is a masculine mashup of cocoa vanilla products that are all from older kits or older collections that we've put together. And then we have another kit out of our stash coming up the third week in April, but the second and fourth weeks in April will be new product that we purchased for this project. So you definitely want to check out what MK is doing on her channel this week because we are using the same stuff. It's always fun to see what we do differently because our minds work very differently and our styles are very different. And I don't know, we really enjoy seeing what the other person makes, and that was the whole reason behind doing this. We do have a Facebook group. The link is down below in case you want to come and join the Facebook group, and you are welcome to play along. It doesn't have to be using the exact same kit we're using. You can use whatever kit you want out of your stash, but the idea is to stash bust as much as you can. It is always fun if you are using similar products, so that we can, see all the different ways in using the similar products, but it doesn't have to be. It can be completely different. I am using my edge distress tool. I am roughing up the edges of all of these little pieces of paper. If you're wondering what I'm doing right there, I have a little desk vacuum to pick up all the paper dandruff. I finally invested in one. I mean, it wasn't a huge investment. They're like $13 on Amazon or something like that. But it works so well, and then I don't have to sweep after to get all of that paper dandruff picked up. It's not all over my desk or all over my shirt when I brush it off of my desk. It just works great. I'll put a link for that down below as well in case you're interested in that. There are several different kinds on Amazon. I got one that looks like a little robot. I thought it was cute. But yeah, there are a lot of different options available. So I am just spacing these out with about a 1/16 of an inch in between my strips. I know my last strip that I put on is going to be too wide, so I'm going to have to trim that down, but I wasn't exactly sure how wide to make it. Well, it's really how tall to make it, but so I just kind of waited until I got everything else done, and then I decided to just mark it with a pencil and trim it down, and then I will rough up that bottom edge again. I like the different widths of paper, or heights of paper, I guess. It's not really widths. If you turn it sideways, it's widths. But it's really the heights of paper. I like having different sized pieces, but I also do like having them all the same size, but that's a little bit harder to do because you have to be a little more conscientious of how tall you're cutting them. Your measurements actually matter when they're trying to be all the same, but in this case it doesn't really matter, and I like the way that it looks, so that's what I went with. I have these 3 photos of my son and a couple of his scouting friends, and then there's one of him and my husband. And these are from when he was much younger. These are, I think, from 2008 or 2009. And they had just finished a camp out, and they're already on their electronic devices as soon as they got to the car and as soon as they had service. So I think at the time they had, I want to say it was Game Boys. I don't think Switch was out by then at that time. I think they're Game Boys that they're playing. But anyway, I have these awesome acrylic sublimated pieces that MK made. So I will put a link for those down below, as well as these wood veneer pieces that she created over in her shop. I really love the piece that says, "I went outside once, but the graphics were not that good." And so I wanted to use that. And then I definitely wanted to use that game over piece. Now that cluster that's in the upper right hand corner is going to get moved down a bit because I didn't really need so much open space on those green stripes. So I'm going to move that whole cluster down, and then the one in the upper left hand corner I'm going to move to the top of the photograph just to kind of balance it out a little bit better. And then I don't have as much open space. Now I do have a piece of Flair from Cocoa Vanilla. I am going to try and smush it in my Stampin' Up! Die cut machine. I definitely could not do this on one pass. These Flair are a bit different than the Flair that I'm used to from Scrap and Happy Studio, and they've got like a plastic backer on them. I definitely didn't want to go through the machine on one pass. I took it and I went into the machine a little bit, and then I turned it and went in again just to kind of flatten out the edges. And then I made the sandwich very sloppy, and I ran it through with a lot of gap. So it's definitely not super flat, but it's flatter than it was, and that makes me happy. I feel like the wood veneer and the acrylic pieces are only 1/16 of an inch thick, but the Flair is definitely a little on the thicker side, especially when you have it kind of overlapping the wood. So I definitely didn't want it to be as thick as it would have been otherwise. So that was my thinking. I do want to bring a little orange into each one of these clusters. I will do a little bit of journaling on that one in the upper right hand corner, as well as stamping the date up there. And then there's these newsprinty pieces, frames that were in the, I'm not really sure what it's called, something awesome. It was one of the early Cocoa Vanilla collections. I didn't have any of the paper. I just had a sticker sheet and some ephemera from it, and I don't even know where I got that from. So that's what I pulled out. I pulled out those pieces. I'm going to trim the right hand edge of the upper frame off and put it into that cluster that's at the top of the photos to bring that newsprinty color look over there, and kind of balance it out a little bit more. I am inking everything up with a little black soot distress ink to give it a little bit of pop, and just using my ATG to hold everything down. I will be using some foam to help support the pieces that are overlapping, especially the cardstock stickers, because I don't want those to bend underneath or bend over the edge of the wood veneer or the acrylic where they are layered on top of. Hopefully that makes sense. And I also will be using a little bit of foam underneath that piece of Flair because I do have it overlapping a little bit on top of the acrylic. These little glue dots are not thick. I know they look the same as the thicker ones that I'm using, but I have them in a couple of different heights, and these ones are really thin that I'm using for the acrylic pieces. The wood veneer already comes adhesive backed, so I just have to peel and stick. And you didn't get to see me take the masking off of the front of the wood veneer. It does come with a masking on it. I did that prior to getting on or turning on my camera. But if you order wood veneer from MK, you need to remove the masking off the top of it so that it shows the natural beauty of the wood. And some of her wood is dark like this, and some of it is the blonde wood. She's also got some that is kind of like a grayish color and a more redwood looking color. So yeah, lots of options over on her website. And so I will put links for these down below for you, as well as the link to her channel so you can easily go and check out what she's got going on. So the close-ups are coming up here in just a few moments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I am a little bit behind in responding at this point in time, but I do read every single one and respond, so feel free to leave any message for me down below. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this one, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, actually, with another video, so come back and check that out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.